Okay, so it's the 23rd of October, 2021, and I'm kind of getting back on this project. I've been skating on for a while, got sick for a little bit there, so that kind of kept me from doing much cutting with things that stink. So what I'm going to be doing today is cutting out the floor in the trunk area. I've got that one bumper bracket, right there. I've got to chop out, but I'm going to take the plasma cutter and cut along the edges of the wheel wells and try to separate the body there, and then same thing over here. I have to cut down in the bottom where the little wraparound panel is. This side's rotted out, so nothing to cut there. But and then I'll have to come back here and separate this trunk brace that goes across, separate that from the quarter panel. So what I'm thinking is probably either just slicing, this guy down through here, possibly. Probably on this side, I'll probably just cut here around with plasma, and maybe try the same thing on the other side just to kind of break it free the last little bit there. And then inside the car, what I have to do in order, because I'm taking the frame members out at the same time, will be come in here where these top covers are on the torque boxes, probably just slice that thing around with the plasma, get the top panel out of the way, and then cut this side panel back, this guy right here, out. Just cut along the edge and then trace the edge of this thing to break it free. I may have to go from underneath, but I'm thinking that's why if I remove this cover here, I can probably get to everything that's going to be in the way, and I can just lop that off and then lop the other side, and that'll break it pretty much free, because I've already got the package tray slash whatever braces, whatever you want to call them, coming off behind the back seat. I've already gouged out the spot welds with the plasma, so I have to cut the rest of the way with the plasma. I started to trim it right there. You can see where I've got a slice going through there, but obviously my torch won't fit once I get past that little area. So I'll probably try to cut that from the bottom side. I'm not a major fan of that because you got undercoating under there, and it stinks terribly anyway anytime you cut it. But that's the plan, is just to cut that all, keep going around the wheel wells. And I'd like to, end today, get that thing out and then start cleaning up those surfaces on the rocker. As you can see, I got a gap right there because I changed the inner rocker up to that point. I couldn't get to this, obviously, with all that in place. So I'm then going to splice that back in, keep going. But I've got to get all that out of the way and get that piece of rocker, the inner removed from there. And then this side, I don't think I'm actually going to have to do any rocker work for the most part. It seems like it's pretty solid. So, but once I get into the wheel well eventually, months later, it'll let me at least do some coating and cleaning and stuff in there to keep it from, rotting out from the inside. The fact that they're galvanized, it definitely holds up a lot better than I ever imagined. I kind of thought they would be rotted out, but they don't seem to be. So, but yeah, getting all this chopped off it'll be nice to get that stuff out of the way so I can clean it up and get it ready for at least starting to test fit the other pieces as they come inside there. So that's kind of where it stands. Okay, a couple notes just for note's sake. The rear torque box area, you'll notice on the outside of the rocker, actually extends lower than the rest of the I say floor, I guess, where the seam comes down. You can see how this portion here sticks down an extra little bit there. Obviously, so you can get the jack on it without crushing the rest of the body, kind of like my dad did right here, where he kind of caught that thing with the jack a few times, obviously. I have to straighten all that out. But anyway, so it does stick down anywhere from 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. So I'll just have to keep that dimension in mind when I go to put the other one back on. And I am going to keep marking some of the stuff as far as where everything's located, just so it goes in easier, hopefully on the way back together. I am hoping that the actual shape of it just steers where it's going to be located. And I'm hoping it's all bent correctly. So hopefully these, floor panels are actually correct, because that could be troublesome otherwise. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna have to cut those out of there, and but I just want to make sure I noted the fact that it does stick lower down in here. It extends lower than the actual outer side of the rocker. So yeah, it's good to know. But just one of those little dimension things you want to pay attention to, obviously, so that you get the parts put back in the same place. Right. All right, so I've got the floor, the transition pan and trunk floor, I should say, cut all the way around with plasma. So I've cut every bit around here
around there. I actually cut the drop out, the drop down panels. I cut that one out. This one over here was so rotted, I just kind of folded it back under. But I had to disconnect over in there. All I did here was basically gouge away around the bracket because I'm changing the brackets anyway. And to make it easier to get to that thing to try to clean it up. And then if you come inside the vehicle, what I ended up doing was, cutting with the plasma straight down the edge there. So it's all free, at least now. And it should drop out the bottom when I take those 4 jack stands, or either kick them out or slowly crank them down, one or the other. And that should allow the floor to come down. I don't think there's anything remaining holding it. So, and then comes the fun part of cleaning up all these edges and trying to make it, clean and neat and ready for the next floor piece to go in. So it's been an eventful morning. All right, let's try that and hope it's actually videoing me. All right, what I'm gonna do here, drop this thing out and see what happens. All right, hoping I can lean the front of the floor down, but jury's out if this will work. Terrible. There we go. Nice. Nice. Okay. All right, so the trunk, our transition pan, everything is on the ground. So now I have to go around and clean up all these edges, which take a lot of time. And go clean that up. I'm going to change the outers. I don't know, I may even change the inners. I'm probably just going to buzz them off till they're flush. That way I can check the new panel, make sure it fits, drill it for where it belongs, and then go anchor it in place there a little bit, anchor it with screws back in here, weld it for real in the front a little bit, and then start taking off probably, maybe the tail panel. They're not in stock right now though. That's kind of challenging to find a good one, but swap the tail panel possibly, and then start going with quarters. And that will get me pretty much all new metal. So with the exception of the rockers and obviously my sail panels are pretty crappy. So I've got to patch those, but I'll wait until I get that top, trunk, whatever you call it, the transition pan thing put in place. Rear window panel, we're going to call it. So anyway, productive day. I got a lot of that chopped out. I just got to go in after the fact and clean up along there. That one actually, I'm taking that piece of the inner rocker out because I've already patched in because it was actually rusted towards the front. So I was going to change the entire rocker inner, and so I've got to change the rear portion of that one still. So I'll just cut away what I need to, take out the spot welds, take out whatever's tying it in, and then just drop that piece off there and put the new one up. This side I'm going to keep it just because it really wasn't terribly rusty or anything. So I just need to go through and clean up all that extra meat there, get it all off, get it ready. I've already got it marked for where the new one belongs back in there, and then and start trying to fit pieces in there. So that's going to be fun. But anyway, it's been a long morning / early afternoon. All right, thanks.